back to another video, and today I will be going through last time this year new makeup releases that have been announced or already have been released. So we are getting to the end of 2023. I am pre-filming 2 videos today, and one of them will be coming out before the New Year's time, and then the second one will be coming after New Year's. So this will be, as I said, the last sort of makeup news roundup video of this year and my last video that will be coming out during 2023. And I'd say that we don't have necessarily as much as products as there's usually to go through. However, that is often how end of the year goes. I think we will start to get more products once we sort of get to halfway to January, because usually at the beginning of the year we get quite a lot of base products like foundations and concealers and sort of these staple-like products, and then I think when we start getting closer to the February we start getting the sort of Valentine's Day releases, and also some releases, of course there's also the sort of Lunar New Year releases that have already been sort of trickling out. But let's get my phone and let's go to the releases themselves that I will be talking about today. So first product that we will be discussing is the Fenty Gloss Bomb. So Fenty came out, I think it was just like maybe a week or two before Christmas. They released a new shade of their Gloss Bomb, and this is called Candy Soda, and I will be popping a picture beside me so you'll be able to see it. And it's a pretty shade. I think it's a shade that I would be like really much, and also I like the sort of original Gloss Bomb formula. They have since come out with the sort of cream formula that doesn't have the sparkles, and then they have this sort of heat formula, which I haven't. I probably have said this before, I don't like these sort of lip products that sting your lips or cause burning or anything like that, so I haven't even tried the Fenty sort of lip Gloss Bomb heat formula. The cream formula I have had one product from, but I think I gave that away to a friend who I think suited much better like her makeup taste. But I'm a fan of the sort of OG Gloss Bomb formula. But regarding this shade, it's a pretty pink shade. However, I'm thinking that this is pretty close to another shade. I believe I had the shade in my collection. I will pop out the name of the shade in the screen that I'm discussing. But I think I gave that shade out to because I hadn't opened it up yet, and I had a friend who I thought that it would make such a nice Christmas gift, because I do have quite a lot of lip products in my drawer that I haven't opened and will most likely remain unused, so that it would be in spirit of the Christmas give it away to a friend that I knew that she would get use out of it. But yeah, it's a, like I said, nice shade, but I do believe that Fenty has already quite something similar within their Gloss Bomb line. So especially because this is a lip gloss, and the Fenty Gloss Bombs, they don't. A couple of the darker shades, they do give some color to your lips, but especially these sort of lighter pinkier nude ones, you don't really get a lot of color with them. So I'm just wondering that maybe before buying this shade, check that do you have the sort of other older shade that is quite similar, because the result isn't necessarily that different. But I believe this is available now, so if Fenty is something that's available to you, you can now go and buy it. So another lip product is that Tarte came out with the Maracuja Juicy Shimmer Glass Lip Plump. So these are their sort of Maracuja lip glosses that are in the sort of clicky pen format, and I own one of the sort of original Maracuja lip glosses, and I do like them. They are a bit sort of, how should I say, they are a bit like, it's quite a thick gloss formula, so you do have to be careful when applying it. However, I like the original one. However, what makes this one different is that, yeah, this has now like more sparkles. So the original Maracuja lip gloss, it's just like a gloss, so there isn't like glitter or sparkle particles in it. But now this new one, I believe, yeah, has some sparkle in it. I think if I will be visiting next year, I will be traveling abroad, and if I will be visiting a country that has a Sephora, then this could be a product that I would probably just pick one out and try and see what it's like. However, this is not a product that I will go through the trouble of ordering online, because as I said before, my lip drawers are quite full as they are. I actually did receive one of the Fenty like lip gloss sets as a holiday like Christmas gift from a relative. So I am quite good with glosses so far, but like I said, next year if I go traveling abroad and there's a Sephora and Tarte available there, then most likely something that I would be interested to try, but this also I think is already available right now. Alright, next product. So NYX has come out with an extension to their sort of Marshmellow line. So they had the primer, and I actually did review the primer in one of my roundup review videos that's available on my channel. And while I do think that the primer, it smells nice, it had this very sort of artificial candy floss or marshmallow scent. However, I didn't feel the primer did much, and now they have come out with a setting spray, and I do believe, how are they advertising this? Well, the setting spray, I believe this might be one of those mattifying setting sprays or setting sprays that are supposed to like make your makeup last longer. And NYX is something that's available in my country. We do have quite many retailers. However, NYX's prices here in Europe are quite, how should I say, it's expensive. It's like up there for the drugstore, so it's not exactly like if you're looking for a very affordable drugstore product, then I have at least felt at times that the NYX products compared to the price that they sell, at least in my country, I at times haven't felt that they're actually like, or not all of them are worth the price. Some of them I have felt that are quite good, but yeah. I think because the primer I wasn't a fan of it, and because I'm not someone who collects setting sprays, so I'm a person that I actually use up my setting sprays before buying new ones, so not necessarily something that I'm running out to buy, and not necessarily something that I'm excited to try. But again, if you did like the Marshmellow primer, and if you felt, because I felt that the primer didn't do really anything, but if the primer worked for you, then maybe this setting spray could be something that is a good add-on to use with the Marshmellow primer that they already had before. And we have another Glamlite release, my god, and I do believe when I'm filming this they have actually already like teased the Kiss themed release, but this is something that I think released like just close to Christmas, or like very like, it was sort of very, how should I say, it was so close to Christmas that I think for most people it went quite under the radar, though, even though I did see quite many of the influencers who got this on PR reviewing it. But the collection that I'm talking about is a Glamlite on Garfield collection, and Garfield has something like, let's see, in my country, yeah, I have like read some of the comics when I was a kid, and I do believe the animation series, it has shown like sometimes, but Garfield, I don't think where I live, it's not like it's a very like a huge franchise, but most people I think do know what Garfield is, and I'm also like, I'm familiar with the characters, but this isn't really like a franchise that would make me buy this collection. Like, I think the eyeshadow palette, I think the eyeshadow palette looks nice, but it is lacking a bit of depth, and I'm not exactly like the color story. It does fit sort of the Garfield theme. It's very warm toned. There's like a lot of reds and oranges here, but not something that and I actually, now when I'm looking at the hand swatches Glamlite posted, actually some of the shimmers are looking quite similar, one swatch in the arm. And then there's a cheek palette, and then I believe those are lip care products, and then there's a sponge and a makeup bag and a mirror. Well, the mirror looks kind of, if you want a Garfield hand mirror, then I think the mirror looks quite kind of cute, but yeah. It's gonna be like a no for me. I don't know, Monolith Shop here in Europe does stock Glamlite collection, however, because Glamlite has been coming out with so many collections lately, I think Monolith is running a bit behind, because I think that in their next launch, which I do believe is happening somewhere now in January, they are still getting some of the sort of horror themed collections that Glamlite releasing like so many of during the October time, and even after October. So I don't know if the Garfield collection is gonna be something that will eventually come to Monolith Shop, but I do believe it's something that you can now go and buy in the Glamlite's own website if it's something you're interested, but not something that I will be getting. And I think that like generally I think Glamlite should like really try to phase out their releases, because as I said, as I'm filming this, they have already like teased their next sort of collaboration, which is with the band Kiss, and I'm thinking that it is like I already said this with like all the horror releases, it's getting overwhelming, and I'm still will be standing with my point that with Glamlite, all these IP collabs, it's getting very, very overwhelming right now. So next is actually a base product that I am quite interested in. So L'Oreal came, sorry, my voice is getting, voice is getting a bit down. So L'Oreal came out with a new True Match concealer. So True Match line, I actually have the True Match foundation and their sort of older, the sort of concealer they had within this line before in my drawers right now, because I actually did use up my Charlotte Tilbury foundation today, and I'm also out from my Natasha Denona concealer, so I thought it would be fun to try those as a pair. But now they have come out with a new concealer in the True Match line, and this is a I believe a serum-like concealer, so I think it will be more like hydrating rather than a mattifying concealer. And I believe Steps, is it Steps Makeup Corner or what's the channel name? But she like does like she does a lot of reviews, and she's very good at getting like content out from new products. And I believe Steps tried this, and I do think it looked quite nice. As I have said, I'm someone now in my 30s, so I can't use anymore exactly like this very sort of heavy matte coverage concealer. I do actually now need my concealers to be a bit more like, have some hydration to them and not look as heavy, because it will then emphasize more of my sort of lines under my eyes, but I still simultaneously will need some coverage under my eyes because I do have some like darkness under there. But definitely I think this is a product that I could be interested in trying. However, this is now available in North America, but I'm not so sure when this is coming in Europe. But L'Oreal is pretty good at getting their stuff out to different regions, unless it's a region-specific product. But I believe this is something that will most likely also come to Europe, because the True Match line is also sold here quite widely. But yeah, this is something that once I will be running out of my sort of old base products, again, concealer and foundation they aren't products that I collect in my collection, but I actually use them up and then buy new ones. So once I'm out from my old products, then this could be something that I will be trying once it's available in my country. So next some Christmas releases that I'm very late speaking about, but this is something that I believe that has already sold out, at least on the brand's website, and also this was available in Monolith shops. Like Monolith did a small launch on like December, and I did actually buy one product from that launch, but it wasn't this one. So Gourmande girls came out with another palette in collaboration with the Doodles by the Bunny. So I believe Doodles by the Bunny is the person who has like sort of designed the cover art and everything. And this is sort of very the palette is called Silent Night, and this is sort of very sort of Christmas night themed palette. I didn't get this for, obviously if you have like watched any of my like eyeshadow palette related videos, is that this had a lot of blues in it, and I'm not a primary fan of like this sort of blue eyeshadows, though I will give them like credit for the fact that this did have some neutrals mixed in. So yeah, but there is quite a lot of reviews from this. However, I'm not sure what's the status of this. Was that this might have been a limited edition release, and as I said, I do believe the brand has already been, I'm not gonna actually say that it has the brand sold out, but I do believe at least on Monolith's website this did sold out on the December launch. And this, because it is a Christmas product, then I don't know is this something that they will just keep as a limited edition. But it's, I think, a nice cohesive color story nevertheless, even though it's a color story that I'm not particularly fond of. Next, another indie release that might have already also just like it was there and then it sold out. So Bellabeautébar released the Angles of Illumination, and I'm not actually sure when I watched some reviews videos of this that was this a re-release or redesign, because I do believe they had a palette that was in sort of white covers that was named similarly, so I'm not sure if this is a re-release or a redesign. But this was an all shimmer palette, and immediately when I saw this, I knew that even if this would be something that would be available for me, I no longer need like all shimmer palettes. I mentioned this in the makeup news tag video that I did, that next year, especially with indie brands, I will be more and more focusing on indie brands that come out with cohesive palettes that both have shimmers and mattes, and it should be quite an even ratio, because I'm a person who likes a 50-50 ratio. So, and I have at this point like so many all shimmer special shade palettes that I don't need a separate one. So if you need a good indie shimmer palette, I haven't tried Bellabeautébar myself, but I do believe the brand has gotten quite good reviews in terms of being an indie brand. So this is an option you might look into, but as I said, I'm not sure if this was also something that has already sold out. But also, yeah, I'd say that these all looked quite jewel toned, so these are a bit darker shimmer shades. Next, let's talk about some makeup tools. I don't usually mention tools because I'm a person who I use my makeup brushes and then if something breaks I buy new ones, but I don't like to splurge on them, let's just say. let's just say that, but I will mention this because this is post from a YouTuber that I actually like. So Angelica Nyqvist, who is a Swedish YouTuber, but she now lives, I believe, in the States, in Texas right now. And her brand Singe Beauty, which already did their first release, I believe it was during this year. Yeah, so they did, so she released her first set of brushes this year, and now she came out with an extension before Christmas, and now I'm looking what did they have. So there seems to be so I believe the first launch there were quite a lot of eye brushes, but this is more focused now on face brushes. So there is different sort of brushes for base and cheek products, and then there is two new face brushes, and then there's a sponge, and then this sort of powder proof. And this is also might also be that this launch has already sold out because she has just started out her own business, so so she obviously there isn't so much stock yet available compared to some mainstream brands, but if you want to support another creator, then I would I trust Angie, and these should be I think good quality brushes, and especially I think if you live in States. So I believe these are shipped from the US, so for us Europeans this could be a bit expensive to get. But for those living in US, the shipping, and because you don't have to pay then any of these import-related fees, then these could be good brushes to try out if you're looking to try some quality brushes. And I do like the sort of yellow bright theme that Angela has been keeping within the brush handles. It sort of separates them a bit from other brush brands. But yeah, keep an eye on her social media channels, because Angie has been on her YouTube channel and on her social media channel, she keeps up to date that what sort of stock levels there are and what products are available, and also then check the website if there is some additional information. But yeah, congratulations from Angie for another, I believe this was quite a successful brush launch, and it's nice to see her expanding her business. Some European indie brands. So GlamShop, which is a Polish indie brand and an indie brand that I have thought quite highly about because their brand is easily, sorry my hair is a mess today, but let's try and ignore that. But yeah, GlamShop came out with their new lipstick. So GlamShop has actually, during the fall now, they have redone quite a lot of their sort of staple products. So I think before holidays they came out with a new foundation and a new powder. Their concealer, I'm trying to think that did they also... I think they didn't redo their concealer yet, but their foundation, they did release a new one, and also alongside with that they came out with a powder, and then they have come out with some new lip products, and now they have sort of redone their sort of satin lipsticks. I tried their lipstick formula before and it was okay. It wasn't the best lipstick formula ever, and now I'm looking at these new ones. I mean, it looks like there's a good amount of, these are all very sort of nudie pink shades, but there is a few pinkier ones that I'm looking right now that I could be down to ordering, and I do actually like the bullet design of these is much nicer than the old ones. So the old ones were sort of in this white packaging that had some star images, star, I don't know, images or stamps in them, but they felt a bit, it did feel a bit cheap, but these actually look nice because they have this sort of pink to gold gradient in them. But these are also available now. GlamShop is it's not cheap indie brand, but it's relatively decently priced indie brand, and especially if you live within the European Union, I would recommend trying this brand because you will get some very good quality products for without having to think about this sort of import related fees. And their shipping, I think, is quite, the only downside is that their shipping is a bit more expensive for an inside Europe brand. So as I have said previously, the shipping is around the 10-15 euro mark, unless you're ordering, like, I believe very close to Poland, then it might be a bit cheaper. But aside from the shipping, as a brand that the brand's products themselves are very decently priced, and the quality is very good. This was a sort of another, I think, a surprise release because it came so close to the holidays. So Simply Posh Cosmetics, they released, I believe this was their like last palette of 2023. And this is their sort of Aurora Borealis themed palette. What's the name? Yeah, so the palette name is actually Aurora Light. So this is, as I said, Aurora Borealis themed palette, and there is sort of these sort of dark jewel tone shades in it. This is not a color story that I'm interested in because it is quite dark heavy, and it's quite blue heavy. So it is something that I will not be getting. I do believe this might be coming available in Monolith shops like next launch, which is happening now in January, or maybe the launch after that, depending how fast they are able to get shipments, because I do know that especially during the sort of holiday end of the year time, the shipment times are longer. But even if this would be available to me, it's something that I'm just gonna skip purely because of the color story. But this is, I believe this is already available on the brand's website, though I'm not sure what the stock situation of it is. But generally, I think Simply Posh Cosmetics is a brand that I would want to try during like next year. But so far, their color story, they had the sort of lemon themed color palette during the summertime. I can't remember the name of it, which I almost bought, but there were also during that time so many other makeup products coming out that I wanted to buy more, so I sort of skipped the palette back then. But Simply Posh Cosmetics is a brand that's on my radar, and I hope next year they will be coming out with a color story that will then make me want to buy a palette from the brand and to try them, because they have gotten quite a lot of reviews. But this one, unfortunately, is a skip purely because of the color story. Some more drugstore products. So Physicians Formula has sort of done their 2024 collection launch, and this is already available in the States in their own website, and even I think some US like brick and mortar retailers. However, in Europe, I think this will be coming to here a bit slower. And I'm now looking at the image here because there's quite a lot to go through. So okay, there seems to be a foundation, then there's a lip gloss or a lip oil type of product, then there's this sort of a combined bronzer or blush. Then we have this sort of contour ones that are imitating the Charlotte Tilbury ones, and then there's some color collectors, then there's some liquid blushes, and then there's some powder bronzers. Yeah, bronzers, I was looking, are there contours or bronzers? But yeah, Physicians Formula is a brand that there is a supermarket chain that I can get the brand from. However, I think the new stuff, we do get the new stuff, but it comes out quite slow. It comes to here quite slow, and then we don't also get like everything. So I really don't know what we are going to get. And also the price of Physicians Formula in here, there's quite a lot of like, there's a quite big hike when they import it from States to here. So it's also in here for where I live for drugstore brand, it's not exactly as inexpensive as it is in US. I think there's already quite a lot of like reviews from these. At least I watched one video from Jen Phelps, and then I did watch another video. I don't remember the creator's name right now. And I think there was a bit mixed sort of opinions about which products were working were a bit mixed. I think the foundation, for example, is more sort of meant to be as a light coverage, like a glowy foundation. So that's maybe something to consider. And also I do have to say again with Physicians Formula, and I do think this is something that the brand has gotten quite a lot of critique for, is that the shade range again is quite, I say quite limited. They have, like, I understand that as a drugstore brand they don't get as much as sort of shelf space to get like a lot of shades, but still I do think that their shade, they should still try to do a bit better in terms of offering shades for different skin tones. But yeah, this is, if you live in the States, this is now available and there is quite a lot here, but not, let's just say that there isn't anything that I would go out and buy, because I do think that, well, the packaging of some of these products is quite nice. The reviews so far haven't been something that had gotten me to think that I should go and get these immediately. Next product was probably the most, like, how should I say, I think I might have commented on Karen Harris's video, who is an US-based YouTuber, that this really showed really where Pat McGrath is right now. So Pat McGrath came out with these sort of glittery eyeshadow pots that, and these are just like basically basic shimmer shades in a potted form, and this just, like a few years ago when Pat McGrath released stuff, it wasn't innovative, but there was something interesting in it, and the stuff sold out at launch. And now we had the sort of blue eyeshadow, which I didn't mention in my makeup news video, but we had this sort of blue eyeshadow, single eyeshadow that she kept teasing, and we were all thinking that maybe now there's something exciting, and then we were all sort of felt like we were very let down when it was really that all this hype was for one single blue shimmery eyeshadow that you can get from drugstore brands or you can get from other higher end brands. So that was sort of let down, and now we have these potted shimmer shades that aren't actually even that, like, I watched some like reviews and swatches of these and there isn't really anything special. Like, you can get this sort of shimmer eyeshadow in a normal eyeshadow palette, they aren't like that special, and it's like really, it just feels that at this point the brand is like just trying to come out with something to get some money coming in, but it's just the sort of creativity and excitement that that used to be associated with Pat McGrath releases, I'm just sort of feeling like that's sort of so far gone right now. And well, these are now available. I do believe Pat McGrath is running another sale on her website, at least when I was filming this, and she has been running sales quite a lot, and that I think itself tells how the brand is doing, which is not usually a good sign if you have to constantly run sales to get money coming in. And yeah, and I was also like thinking for a while that are these sort of re-releases, because I do believe with the Star Wars collection last year, which was also quite a flop with the whole sticker situation and how the sort of, I believe also the smaller palettes, though I believe the packaging of those also had a bit of an issue, like quality issues, and generally people just felt that there was quite a lot of also repackaged old releases that she was trying to get rid of. And I was also thinking when I saw this that didn't she come out with something like this last year or so? Is this another case of repackaged stuff? But these could also be new shades. But yeah, I'd say that if you're looking for a nice shimmery eyeshadow, then maybe just go look for something else and don't pay the, like, I think these go for something like 30 or 28 euros, so I wouldn't like put my money and pay that much money for a single shimmer eyeshadow shade when I can get a palette for that price that has many shades. Next I will be talking about two e.l.f. releases. So e.l.f. has come out with some new liquid blushes and then a extension to their Camo sort of foundation concealer line. So there's now sort of new liquid blushes, and then there is the sort of foundation, and I believe the Camo foundation, the original one, is supposed to be quite a heavy matte foundation, and this one is supposed to be, now the newer one is supposed to be more like a dewy finish. And I do think the blushes look nice, however their e.l.f. isn't something like, I can get e.l.f. from Beauty Bay, but it's not a brand that I can, for example, access in store. And so while e.l.f. has been like on a roll, and I know they have been getting a lot of hype in terms of releasing quite good quality drugstore products from sort of these trendy makeup products, I don't think either of these products are something that will make me still want to like order from the brand, because I think that for me there are like other alternatives for very similar products for me that are more easily available. But these are both, the foundation and the liquid blushes are both available right now. I did check the blush range. It looks like there's quite a lot of range from shades to very light sort of dark shades. And something that e.l.f. does well, I believe, also is their foundation line. So I think at least the original Camo foundation line had quite a wide variety of shade range, so that's a good thing, because as I said with the Physicians formula, sometimes with drugstore brands is that they're not so good at bringing wide shade range, but with e.l.f. I do think that the original Camo foundation has a good shade range, and I hope that also that now the glowy one also has as extensive one as the matte version. But if you live in the US, this is again available to you, and these will come to Beauty Bay because Beauty Bay has been quite good at getting the new e.l.f. products. There is some delay there, but these will be available at Beauty Bay at some point. So for those of us living in Europe, and if you like to order from Beauty Bay, I would recommend just wait and then order from there. This was probably like the only release at the end of the year that I was like excited about. So Ensley has come out with the full moon palette, or sorry, cold moon palette. So they came out with the fairy themed one quite recently, and now they have launched this one, and I do believe this actually launched like a day before when I was filming this video. But regarding the palette, like this is the perfect, I'm now looking at this and I'm thinking that this is the like perfect cool toned palette that I have been dreaming about. So there are some shift shades, there are some holochromes, then there's some pinks in there, and then there is some like sort of not completely like grey, but these sort of cooler toned neutrals in this. And now I'm just like hoping when this will be. I think Monolith Shop already announced that they will be getting this, but because of the end of the year and sort of holidays, as I said, Monolith Shop, it takes time for them to get the stock of products, especially from the like US based brands. So I don't know, is this something that they will be getting to their January launch, or is this something that I will have to wait for February? I really don't like, I could order this from their website from States, but because the shipping and the additional handling fees that will come out with it importing it, it will be like much more worth it to just wait to come to Monolith Shop, the palette to come to Monolith Shop, so it will be easier for me to get. But yeah, I think Ensley is on the roll, and something else, and this is really like fitting also, as I said, with the whole like what I'm expecting from indie brands next year. So this has a 50-50 shimmer to matte ratio. I got the Harvest Moon palette. That was my sort of only like Monolith Shop order that I made during their December launch, and their December launch already was quite like limited what products were available. However, even the Harvest Moon palette, there's only like the bottom row of it is like mattes and all the rest of it are shimmers. But and so I feel that in long term I will have to grab for other palettes. I haven't actually tried palettes in my drawer, but I haven't like tried it yet or swatched it or anything. That's going to go to my next like 2-week rotation. But yeah, with this Harvest Moon one, I think that they are now definitely like improving themselves. So this has now like there's an like even amount of mattes and shimmers, and you will be able to use this as a standalone palette. And the looks that I have seen that people have created with these are like very, very beautiful, and I do think they will be fitting the winter season perfectly. But yes, this was like, as I said, the only sort of palette release at the end of the year that I am now like got really excited about when I saw this, and I'm really waiting for this to become available also here in Europe. The only downside of this is that this is probably gonna be again quite expensive. So for example, the Harvest Moon palette that I got from the Monolith order, it was 89 euros, and this is of similar size as the previous sort of rectangular palette, so I believe this will also be 89 euros again, or even a bit more, could be more expensive depending, has the inflation and prices of production gone up again. But yeah, so it could be that when I will be ordering this will be like the sort of only purchase that I have done. I will be doing in that Monolith order. But nevertheless, if you live in US and want to order this from their own website, then check the stock. Like I said, this did become available the day before I filmed this video, but again, because Ensley is a indie brand, their products tend to go out of stock quite quickly, so check the situation, and of course you can also sign up to notification when the brand is restocking this if you want to buy this directly from the brand. So from exciting to not so exciting, so NARS has come out with a new collection. And this looks exactly like everything NARS has come out with the last few years. I have actually watched a comparison video of an influencer who got this palette, and she even made comparisons with like NARS's holiday palette, which was this sort of smaller square palette that came out with the blush palette, and even some of like previous NARS palettes, and this looks exactly like everything. So this is the Sweet Sensation collection, and they have their lipsticks, and then there's the liquid blushes, and they have the Afterglow Irresistible eyeshadow palette. What I will say though about this is that, because this is more pink leaning, so NARS has a habit that they do quite similar color stories, they just the variation is only that sometimes it's more neutral leaning, sometimes it's more gold leaning, and then sometimes it's more pink leaning. And this is one of the pink leaning ones, and as someone who has never tried a NARS eyeshadow palette, I can very well see myself next year on a travel. Then I'm going to go to a store, for example Sephora, that has a NARS, and then I'm thinking that now I want to try NARS palettes just to see what the quality is like. So this is probably the closest palette that I would ever like try from NARS. However, considering that I don't have an unlimited makeup budget, so unless a situation arises that I feel that there is like for some odd reason I would have some extra to spend, then this could be something that I would just grab. But this is most likely a product that I would not go to the trouble of ordering online, but this is exactly something that I would just pick on store, thinking that now I want to try NARS, and this is now the like closest thing that I feel that NARS has come out that is suited for my taste, because it is pink leaning, and I'm a person who likes this sort of very pink and a lot pink and rosy eyeshadows. But yeah, not something that I'm gonna go and order online. And if you have not any NARS eyeshadow palettes, you most likely have this like multiple times over. So yeah, I would just recommend like check your collections before like spending your money on this one. And continuing with the not so imaginative releases, so Tarte came out with new drop. There's the Glamazonian, yeah, it's called Glamazon collection, and it's very sort of gold themed. And now I'm looking, what do we have? So we have two eyeshadow palettes. The one is quite neutral, that has a pop of blue and green, and the one that I'm actually like thinking that would be at least somehow remotely interesting would be like the purple sort of smaller one that looks a bit like a Natasha Denona-esque packaging that has this sort of mauve tones. And then there's the mascara, but I believe the mascara might be, yeah, the mascara is a limited edition Lights Camera Lashes mascara, so it's just in a gold packaging. However, if you have watched my last makeup review roundup, I actually had the deluxe size of the Lights Camera Lashes mascara, and I didn't like it. It was probably one of the worst like higher end mascaras that I have tried for some time. But regarding the rest of the collection, not interested in the bigger eyeshadow palette. It's a basic brown palette with a few pops of color. The smaller palette, like I tried Tarte eyeshadow formula first time during this year, and I have quite liked it quite a lot as a formula. It is more on the buildable side, but for me it is quite I think a decent higher end formula. But for me, the sort of smaller eyeshadow palettes is like the most interesting thing in this collection. But again, this is not something that I'm gonna go the effort to order online or something that I would want to dedicate my like makeup budget on. But this is available now on Tarte's website, and I think it might be also available in the US Tarte retailers. I don't know when this is going to come to the European Sephora's, but Tarte's products, they usually also European Sephora's also do get almost all of the same releases as the sort of US retailers. So this will be coming to Europe at some point, but not something that I'm hugely interested in. Next are some Lunar New Year launches that I will be going through as sort of in one. So first one is from NARS, and this is it's just named 2024 Lunar New Year collection, and most of this is repackaged stuff. So I think the powder and the lipstick are repackaged, and now I'm not so sure about the eyeshadow quad in the image. Is this something that they have come out with before? But I really wish brands would use some more imagination with these Lunar New Year collections. I do understand that they want to, because Lunar New Year is something that those who celebrate it, it's also like a season of gifting, bit like Christmas is in the sort of Western countries. So there is also some like during Lunar New Year people buy, I believe they buying gift stuff to each other and maybe something to also themselves. So I do understand that they are like trying to make this as sellable as possible, but like what I don't particularly like about these is that the brands slap a new packaging to old products, and then they are promoting as something new and exciting. But how should I say it? The eyeshadow quad looks well. There is like actually quite, I think, decent, because there is a dark brown that you would get some depth with it, and the like shades look quite nice, but quite neutral and nothing unordinary. And as I said, I think the lipstick and the like pressed powder, those are just like existing NARS products. Then let's go to the Charlotte Tilbury one. So she came out with a Queen of Luck quad, and this is also specifically a Lunar New Year launch, and I think also this looks quite something similar that we have seen from Charlotte Tilbury. I say that if you have a very big Charlotte Tilbury quad collection, please check the quads, because again, this would be probably something that you already have within your Charlotte Tilbury quad. So yeah, neither of these, not something that I'm particularly excited about. The only one that sort of did caught my eye was the Benefit one. So Benefit came out with a Lunar New Year blush, and this is a Dandelion Gold. Yeah, Dandelion Gold is the name of this, and this actually looks something that, for example, I would be interested to buy. However, now I'm just looking at this, that is the gold and overspray of it, because it's an overspray spray, and that's pretty crappy. Yeah, okay, so now that I look at the packaging and the sort of promotional images, so if you see this in store, scrap a little bit about the tester surface, because if the gold is just an overspray and this is basically a normal dandelion shape, then I think that's pretty I think MAC got quite a lot of critique when a couple of years ago they had was it also a Lunar New Year collection, but there was a very big outrage, I think, on social media that MAC came out with this beautiful, I don't remember, was it a blush or another cheek product, but there was this very pretty looking overlay of it, and people were really excited. But then when it was really revealed that it was an overlay, and it was actually then I believe also a shade that already existed within the MAC line, people were very pissed about it. So this, as I said, is the only exciting thing that I spotted from Lunar New Year launches, but please go and check this in store, that if the gold is just an overspray, then maybe don't spend your money in this unless you really like the shade that's underneath. But if it's not an overspray and it's actually, this is the shade how it goes whole way through, then this is the only nice thing that I spotted from the Lunar New Year launches that have been announced recently. So we're getting to the last few products. So ABH came out with a new liquid lip line. So this might be again some of the products, because ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills has also been quite doing some that they have been sort of revamping their product line. And let's see, these are lip velvet. Outshines any ordinary lipstick. So it says that it has the pay of a liquid lipstick, but there isn't dryness or cracking, and it's a mousse-like texture. So these might be one of those, I think this sounds like it's quite close to what I would say that the Oden's Eye or a Fenty liquid lipstick formula is. You can see that English is not my first language. So this might be something that goes very smooth on your lips, and it sort of does dry down a little bit, but this doesn't sound like something that, if you're looking for a liquid lipstick that will last you eating a lot of greasy foods or anything, this doesn't sound a formula like that. So this will be probably something that will last if you drink a little bit of water during the daytime, but something that you will have to reapply, because if it's this sort of moussier formula, then this is something that will not dry down completely onto your lips. I did see some of the promotional photos. It looks like this is quite a lot of good nude shades in the line, and maybe a few reds. And I have so many lip products that I can't justify myself buying this. This is something that will become available, because we do have actually quite many stores now that now sell Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this will be a product that I will be able to check in store once it comes, but I can't justify myself buying new lipsticks right now, because my lip drawer is it's getting quite full, even though it's not that long time that I did my lipstick declutter, but yeah. But this, I think, if it's not available now, it will be available quite soon. And this is a sort of I think that if you have quite a lot of liquid lipsticks, this is a permanent line product, so this isn't limited edition. So I do think this is another product that you can maybe wait and then see that if you at some point want to try a new liquid lipstick formula, then this could be something to try. But if you're a huge ABH fan, then of course then go and get this. ABH has been known to be quite consistent about their products, so I haven't actually I haven't heard that any of their lip product releases would have been awfully bad. So I believe that in terms of formula versus price, this will be quite decent, but not something that I will be getting anytime soon. So the last two products I will be like combining together because these are sort of, I don't know, this isn't like ending the year with a bang. So Morphe and Colourpop have announced some eyeshadow palettes that I will think this will be either releasing just before New Year's or just after New Year's. So the Morphe palette is essentially a neutral palette with a bit of pop of color, and then the Colourpop palette is just the golden neutral palette that they have come out with like a dozen times before. And I'm just saying that this isn't making me like hugely excited for either brand for the next year. So the Colourpop palette is called the Golden Hour, and then the Morphe palette I believe was called Aurascape Artistry palette. So Colourpop has actually been like a bit strange this year. I think what Colourpop did this year is that they redid quite a lot of their like staple line products, which I do believe was something that a lot of their consumers have been asking for, and I think it's a very good thing that brands listen to what their consumers want. And I think people were a bit surprised that Colourpop were all the eyeshadow and collection launches, and we haven't gotten that many this year. So I'm just hoping that now this sort of new golden neutral palette isn't an indication that they have somehow gone dull with the sort of eyeshadow color stories, because I do give Colourpop credit for, even though it's a brand that I no longer buy from because it is a bit difficult to, it takes quite a while for the products to ship. But this palette is certainly not something that is like, I'm hoping that this is now just something like a basic neutral palette they thought that they will be now filling out with their line with, and hopefully next year we will get again some more better color stories from them, because Colourpop is a brand that has been known to do quite a good color stories, but this is not something that is exciting for, like getting me excited for. Similarly about the Morphe, I do know that because of Morphe, I believe, is now in bankruptcy proceedings at the moment. So for example, if in US, is it the brand's website closed down? So is this actually something that only like us Europeans will get? Because the really strange thing is now that the sort of Morphe and the main brand format that sort of owns, I think if you want to get a good overview how the whole Morphe thing is going, definitely go and check Jen Loves Reviews channel, because Jen has been doing a very good job at telling how the sort of format proceedings and the brand's under format, which includes Morphe and Jacqueline Cosmetics, how that's going. But now there's like a very strange like situation that I believe the brand in UK and then the European like section, those are still doing as they are doing before, but in the States I think like isn't like most of their stores and websites like I don't think they're taking new orders or anything. And I do believe that, for example, how they handled their like laying out their stuff and everything, I do believe the brand has justifyingly gotten critique how they've been handling the communication about it, the bankruptcy and everything. So yeah, but the sort of Morphe palette like this will most likely be, we have a retailer in my country that does sell Morphe, and they do actually get the new launches quite quickly, so this could be actually something that might be quite soon available for me. However, I'm not a person that, I think Morphe's quality is alright, but it's not anything amazing, and I'm just a bit, how should I say, the way brand, there's just something a bit like maybe a bit iffy about the brand at the moment because of how they've been handling the things in the state side. But yeah, so the Morphe palette again will be available at least here in European and in the UK retailers, but when I can't say. And this again, I feel that Morphe is again doing a color story that they have done before, because this looks quite a lot similar to some, I think, palettes that they have come out with previously. So that was the last makeup news roundup from 2023, so I will be posting this, I think, a day before New Year's Eve, and well, some of you might see this next year, but that was my sort of last video from this year's release, the stuff that has been announced during this year, and I will be of course very excited to see what sort of products we will start to seeing next year, and most likely, as I said in the beginning, in January we will get quite a lot of foundation and base products and sort of staple products. I've also seen there's already been quite a few mascara announcements. I didn't include, like, I don't include all the stuff in these videos, I just include the stuff that have somehow got my attention, but yeah, I think we will be seeing on January a lot of staple product releases, and then on February we will start getting the overflow of Valentine's Day stuff. But anyway, if you like this video, I hope you will push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from my future content. You will also be able to find me on Instagram with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog. I hope wherever you are, you will be having a good day, and I'm already going to be wishing you beforehand Happy New Year's, and I hope I will be seeing you again in watching my videos next year.